This tutorial guides you through the features of the spreadsheet view in the AgriWiz program. The spreadsheet allows a user to view and filter all the information about a particular farm in the AgriWiz system. It is extremely useful for checking season data and parameters and making direct comparisons of seasons for all the fields on a particular farm. Click the spreadsheet icon on the top of the left navigation panel. Select the required farm from the drop-down list to access its specific data and settings. You can choose how many seasons you want to view. If you are looking for an error in a data entry, or trying to identify the source of a problem, it is helpful to be able to compare previous seasons directly. These will be listed by field in reverse historical order, i.e. latest first. Use the blue Re-Query button to change the search criteria. This is an extremely wide and complex screen. You will need to scroll right to see all the required information. Choose the screen detail that you want from the horizontal menu. The default screen is called All, and displays all of the following information according to field name and season. Any critical missing data fields will be highlighted in red and must be completed. Any information underlined in blue can be edited by clicking on the relevant item and typing in the new value or name. This will put a check mark in the Save column, and the system will recalculate when you save at the end of your session. Deselect the check mark if you need to change the altered value. The left and right arrows in a column name indicate where information is available in less or more detail. Note under the Pay column, the color of the trolley will indicate whether or not the season has been paid. A red trolley means payment is outstanding and must be paid before further information can be added or changed. The columns in the Date detail show season start date. This is the ISO week number for that particular year. There are 52 weeks allocated to each ISO year, and week 01 always includes the 4th of January. Weeks start on Monday and end on Sunday. To check on the actual calendar days, click on the calendar icon. Age of the trees or plants in years as of today. Ages in previous seasons give the age of the trees at the end of that particular season. The value in bold print at the bottom of the column gives the average age of the plantings across the whole farm. Save. A check mark in this column indicates that a data field has been edited and the new information will be saved. New. This is a shortcut to create a new season using the current one as a template by clicking on the blue star. It is recommended that inexperienced users should use the season wizard and not this shortcut. A separate video will cover the process of adding a new season from the spreadsheet. Field View. Click on the magnifying glass to view all seasons of the particular field. Season End, the ISO week in which the season ends. Date established, the date on which the crop was originally planted. This can be changed using the small calendar. Season Name, usually a range of years e.g. 25 to 26, but may be a specific name, especially if more than one crop per year. E.g. cucumbers early, cucumbers late. Full bloom date, the date when maximum bloom is expected or occurs. Yield date, the expected harvest start date. These last two figures will eventually be automatically inserted based on the crop norm or data from the mobile app. Clicking on Norm shows the names of the crop norms on which calculations and recommendations are based. This can be changed from the drop-down menu if other norms are listed. The name screen shows the common name for the crop and, if known, the cultivar, taxon and rootstock. Everything except the taxon can be changed. Climate shows the name of the climate station used for all historic climate data and forecasts. This can be changed from the drop-down menu. The plant scree gives information about the planting specifications of the field. Area, the area planted in hectares, including work area but excluding any other non-productive areas, e.g. access roads. Work width in meters, width of area between plant beds left for access. Bed width in meters, the width remaining once the work width has been taken into account. However, if the plant canopies extend beyond the beds, the bed width is determined by the canopy width. Between bed spacing, the total of the work width and bed width. In row plant spacing, the spacing between plants in a plant row. Plant rows per bed, the number of plant rows running the length of a bed. Plant spacing, arrangement of plants on the area planted as calculated from the between bed and in row plant spacing. Number of plants per hectare. Number of plants per field. Season start radius in meters, the measured distance from the plant stem to the edge of the canopy. Where canopies touch or overlap, the measurement must be made where there is no interference from another plant. Season end radius in meters, the estimated radius, as above, at the end of the season. For a mature crop, these two values are generally the same. Note that the correct season start and end radius are extremely important and should be carefully checked for each season. The end radius of one season may not be the start radius of the following season, if pruning has taken place. Max field canopy cover %, the calculated maximum of the planted area that will be covered by canopy. Max bed canopy cover %, the calculated maximum of the bed area that will be covered by canopy. The yield screen shows extraction yield in ton hectare. This is the total weight of vegetative matter produced in a season and includes all plant matter, e.g. leaves, roots etc., as well as the crop. This figure is of most consequence during the first season in which the AgriWiz system is used, before historic data can be used. It is not advisable for the user to change this figure. Calculated extraction yield in ton per hectare. This is the calculated total weight of vegetative matter produced in a season and includes all plant matter, e.g. leaves, roots etc., as well as the crop. The calculation takes into account water usage among other factors. Estimated previous yield in ton per hectare. The estimated crop yield for the previous season. Previous yield in ton per hectare. The actual crop yield for the previous season as entered by the farmer in that season. Estimated current yield in ton per hectare. Predicted crop yield for the current season. Actual crop yield in ton per hectare. Actual crop yield for the current season. This figure needs to be entered by the farmer at the conclusion of harvest. You can do this here or in the season wizard and the figure will be carried forward to the next season. Element yield extraction, e.g. nitrogen, phosphorus etc. in kilogram per hectare. Estimated quantity of that element, according to the relevant extraction norm, harvested from the field or incorporated into the plant based on a production of the extraction yield, in ton per hectare of organic material not returned to the soil. The simple leaf analysis screen shows leaf analysis results for each element in the accepted units, percent or parts per million. Green figures are within the norm limits, red figures are higher than the norm and blue figures are below. Clicking on the right arrows or chevrons will open the detailed leaf analysis information. You will need to use the horizontal scroll to see all the data. High, leaf norm upper limit. Low, leaf norm lower limit. Weighted average, adjusted result taking into account the crop's leaf analysis history. Adjusted kilogram per hectare recommended adjustment. This is based on the interpretation of the leaf analysis in the light of the fertilizer application history and nutrients supplied by water. It does not take into account irrigation efficiency, yield extraction, soil analysis or contribution of the organic fertilizer or fertilizers. Inc. A check mark indicates the leaf analysis is to be used to give a final elemental recommendation. This can be deselected. The Edit or Pencil button will open a dialog box where you can edit an analysis or add another. You can link any relevant analyses following the same method as in the Season Wizard. You can also just click on any element value to do the same. You must save after making any changes. Click the Leaf Analysis Edit section to modify leaf-related data. You can add or make changes here too. The simple soil analysis results show elements in parts per million, apart from organic and inorganic carbon in percent, hydrogen ions in centimole per kilogram, a measure of the soil's acidity. Soil EC in microsiemens per centimeter, a measure of the soil's conductivity or salinity, representing dissolved salts. Soil pH H2O, soil pH or acidity measured by the H2O method. Soil pH KCl, soil pH or acidity measured by the KCl method. This is the figure used for calculation in the AgriWiz system, and the result is generally 1 unit higher than the result from the pH H2O method. Soil composition expressed as percentage of silt, clay, sand and gravel rock. Bulk density in kilogram per cubic decimeter. 1 cubic decimeter equals 1 liter volume of dry material, the weight of a given volume of dry soil. The bulk density is used to calculate the volume of soil. Water holding capacity in millimeter per meter depth of soil measured. Water holding capacity is the amount of water that can be held by the soil at field capacity. The expanded soil analysis shows results as above, but including recommended calculated elemental adjustment in kilogram per hectare for each element. A checkbox indicates whether this adjustment is to be used and can be deselected. Soil water holding capacity estimate in millimeter per meter depth. If no measurement has been made, this is estimated from the silt and clay percent. Sodium adsorption ratio is a measure of the amount of sodium relative to calcium and magnesium. This can impact on the permeability and structure of the soil. Amelioration, recommended soil amelioration in ton per hectare. This may be required to restore or maintain the balance of calcium to potassium and magnesium in the soil. The message need, pH, K, Ca, Mg, sodium to calc, means that required soil analysis results need to be entered. The Edit button will open a dialog box where you can edit an analysis or add another. You can also just click on any element value to do the same. You must save after making any changes. This is the same process as in the Season Wizard. The water screen shows the contribution, or otherwise, of any water analyses to the recommended elemental adjustments to be made. Water Anal number 1, number 2 etc. show the water source in each case for which analysis has been done and the contribution in percent to the irrigation water used, e.g. dam, borehole etc. You can link any season to a water analysis that is available for that farm. You cannot actually add a new water analysis, that must be done in the Season Wizard, but a water analysis entered for one season is available for linking to all other fields or seasons on the same farm. Select from the drop-down list. The analysis details shown are the average water analysis, stated element in parts per million weighted according to the volume of water from each analysis used. The historic weighted average water analysis. This figure is used by the system for interpretation of leaf analysis results. Water adjustment in kilogram per hectare. The calculated contribution from the water to the crop's elemental requirements for the season. Use. The checkbox indicates whether or not this value will be used in fertilizer recommendation calculations. It can be selected or deselected. The organic screen shows the use or otherwise of an organic fertilizer. You can check, add, or change the fertilizer from the drop-down list. Only one selection can be made. Apply. The amount applied or to be applied in ton per hectare. For each organic element available in the fertilizer, you can see the percent of that specific element in the selected fertilizer. The percent efficiency of crop utilization of the element in this form. Quantity in kilogram per hectare. According to these figures, the amount of element that will be applied per hectare. Use. The checkbox indicates whether or not this value will be used in fertilizer recommendation calculations. It can be selected or deselected. The simple fertilizer screen just shows the recommendation for application of each element in kilogram per hectare. Use the right arrows indicated to open the detailed screen. This page provides further fertilizer mix information with columns for all of the following. Name of the fertilizer mix or fertigation tank. The system will recalculate according to the mix selected. You can select or change a mix from the drop-down list. Recommended amount of element to be applied during the season in kilogram, hectare. Adjustment in percent to the recommended administration. Use. Calculated amount to be used after adjustment. Used this season. If this is left blank, the system uses the calculated use amount for interpretation and future recommendations. An incorrect entry will affect the accuracy of interpretation of data. Used last season. The actual amount used last season if it differs from the calculated amount. This figure will have been entered by the farmers at the end of the previous season. An incorrect entry will affect the accuracy of interpretation of data. If this is left blank, the system uses the calculated use amount for interpretation and future recommendations. If you want to see the details of the fertilizer mix, click on the magnifying glass. This shows the calculation method used, the tank mix name if used. The left half of the page shows single-element fertilizers where there is a fertigation tank system in use. This column will indicate the use of fertilizers that supply just a single nutrient element. Note for this purpose, sulfur is not considered a single element. A fertigation tank must contain a minimum of one single fertilizer. The type, if any, of alternative application method. The alternative single-element fertilizer. The right half shows multi-element fertilizers, which are any compound fertilizers used in the tank or for an alternative application method. MST, whether or not the fertilizer is a master fertilizer. The irrigation screen contains all of the information pertaining to irrigation of each field for the season. Irrigation type. This can be changed from the drop-down menu. Emitter delivery rate in liters per hour. The actual amount of water that a single emitter, sprinkler or dripper, delivers in the field. This may differ from the irrigation specs given by the manufacturer. Make sure that the emitter delivery rate is even across the field, or else you will have to take this into account. Irrigation emitter rows per bed, the number of irrigation lines used for a bed. Use fractions if one line is used for more than one bed. E.g. one line for 2 beds equals 0.5 emitter rows. In row emitter spacing in meters, the distance between drippers or sprinklers on a single irrigation line. Emitter wetting radius in meters, the maximum radius of soil that is wet by a single dripper assuming no waterlogging. This is not required for drippers as it is automatically calculated. If you add a value for drippers, this value will be used instead. Min irrigation root depth in centimeters is the irrigation depth at the beginning of the season. The depth will be determined by the depth of the roots or limited by the depth of the soil. This value is of most importance in a newly planted or immature crop. If this figure is left blank, the system will calculate weekly for an immature crop. If a figure is inserted by the user, that depth will be assumed for the whole season. In a mature crop it will be the same as the maximum irrigation root depth. Max irrigation root depth in centimeters is the irrigation depth at the end of the season. The depth will be determined by the depth of the roots or limited by the depth of the soil. System efficiency, this is the percent of irrigation water applied that the plant can potentially utilize. Water losses are due to evaporation, water deposition outside the root zone, leaks and drainage of water below the root zone. These figures will vary on the design and management of the system. General guidelines are: closed hydroponics, 98%, drip, 95%, micro sprinklers, 90%, sprinklers, 75%. Calculated system efficiency, this figure is important in recognizing how much water is actually delivered to the plant itself, taking into account emitter and plant spacing. This also has implications for fertilizer application. Max depletion of easily available water in percent, the water that can be easily accessed by the plant. It is the water held between field capacity and permanent wilting point. Sampler delivery rate in liters per hour. This figure is only applicable if a manual monitoring method is used. Total water use in cubic meters per hectare per season, the water required per hectare per season assuming no contribution from rain. Water use including rain in cubic meters per hectare per season, the water required per hectare per season if there is a contribution from rain. Water use per plant per season in liters. Peak water use per plant per day in liters. This figure is calculated according to the crop norm and the climate history and allows the farmer to assess the adequacy of the irrigation system. Water use per square meter of canopy per day in liters. This figure ignores any water applied to open areas. System delivery rate in liters per hectare per hour. System delivery rate in liters per plant per hour. Soil reservoir in liters per hectare is how much water the soil reservoir can hold per hectare. Wilt point reservoir in liters per plant, quantity of water that a plant could potentially extract from the soil from field capacity to plant wilting point. Extraction limit reservoir in liter per plant, use a set quantity of water available to a plant that can be extracted from the soil starting at field capacity before irrigation must commence. The summary page shows basic details of all the above information except the irrigation specifications. Use the horizontal scroll as required. If you have made any changes that need to be saved, the Save column will show a check mark in the relevant row and the system will recalculate when you save at the end of your session. Deselect the check mark if you need to change the altered value. Finally, click the Save button at the bottom of the screen to save your changes and the system will recalculate. This has been a quick, but comprehensive overview of the spreadsheet view. To review this information, please refer to the help files under the question mark. At the top right in the AgriWiz program.